One culture critic highlighted Min Hee Jin's absence amid the ongoing NewJeans-ADOR feud. The critic wrote an extensive article on Media US and addressed certain issues involving NewJeans, the once most anticipated fifth-generation girl group in the industry, and HYBE. The following is a translation of the critic's column. Did they not see this coming? The impossibility of NewJeans' exit from HYBE? NewJeans' attempt to break away from HYBE never seemed feasible from the start. Their contract still had 4 years remaining, with no clear legal grounds for termination. There were no issues with revenue distribution, unfair contract terms, or any allegations of abuse or exploitation by their agency. The court's decision on March 21 to uphold ADOR's management rights over NewJeans was a logical conclusion. Min Hee Jin and her legal team at Sejong law firm likely anticipated this outcome. That's why, instead of filing for an injunction to suspend the exclusive contract, they took a bold step by pushing forward with the group's independent activities away from ADOR. The catalyst for this legal battle was NewJeans' emergency live broadcast last September, where the members publicly demanded the reinstatement of their ousted CEO, Min Hee Jin, and hinted at taking an independent path. However, this was not the true starting point of the conflict, nor is NewJeans the sole party in this dispute. Their attempted departure from HYBE was triggered by the Min Hee Jin vs. HYBE feud and was ultimately her chosen exit strategy. Let's not forget that even before the situation escalated, it was revealed that Min Hee Jin had been planning to take NewJeans with her. The ongoing lawsuit between NewJeans and ADOR can be seen as a modified execution of Min Hee Jin's Project 1945. HYBE's mismanagement of the situation also played a role. By pushing the narrative of a hostile takeover, they inadvertently cast Min Hee Jin as a victim, allowing her to rally public support against HYBE's wrongdoing. This narrative also became the justification for NewJeans members refusing to continue activities under ADOR without Min Hee Jin. The shift from a Min Hee Jin vs. HYBE dispute to NewJeans vs. ADOR happened with the emergency live broadcast. After that, Min Hee Jin vanished from the front line, leaving NewJeans to continue the fight. Since she was no longer the CEO of ADOR, any direct involvement in NewJeans' affairs could raise concerns of tampering with contracted artists, potentially weakening her legal standing. This explains why NewJeans suddenly took on the role of independent idols, stepping out of Min Hee Jin's shadow. However, suspicions arose as reports surfaced that she had been meeting with business figures behind the scenes and had even spoken with the member who appeared at the National Assembly hearing the day before the event. NewJeans' strategy revolved around an external battle of avoiding an unfavorable legal fight and instead leveraging public sentiment to pressure the courts. This was evident in a series of events: their live broadcast, Hanni's National Assembly testimony, and their press conference. The approach involved framing a private contractual dispute as a broader public issue. A single phrase, "ignore her," allegedly heard from an ILLIT manager, was stretched into a discussion on idol rights. Now that the court ruling has been issued, the debate is expanding globally, with international media portraying their legal loss as a reflection of Korea's reality or K-pop's dark side. Their self-proclaimed status as revolutionaries in a Time magazine interview has even become a meme. NewJeans members, however, were unable to command the same level of influence as Min Hee Jin. Their press conference failed to leave as strong an impression as hers. As an industry executive, Min Hee Jin could navigate multiple arguments with varying tones. Meanwhile, the NewJeans members had to operate within the constraints of their image as young female idols. They positioned themselves as victims of mistreatment, pleading for the return of their rightful guardian. This was a natural outcome of the image Min Hee Jin had crafted for NewJeans, pure, passive girls. The moment the members deviated from this image with certain facial expressions or tones, anti-fans seized the opportunity to criticize them for being disrespectful or rude. With Min Hee Jin restricted from direct involvement, their external battle ultimately failed to achieve its goals. So, who won and who lost in this long fight? HYBE prevented NewJeans from breaking free, but at the cost of significant reputational damage. Meanwhile, NewJeans finds themselves stuck in legal limbo during the prime years of their careers, waiting for the main lawsuit to unfold. In a war with no clear victor, the only one who seems to have gained something is Min Hee Jin. Through her infamous press conference, she became a cultural figure of national significance. And in the end, she got what she wanted, an escape from HYBE. Unlike idols, a producer's career lasts much longer. She can secure investment, establish a new company, and debut another idol group. Given that NewJeans' fandom largely overlaps with Min Hee Jin's supporters, they may follow her wherever she goes. NewJeans members did not become the main characters in this dispute because they were its rightful stakeholders. Instead, they found themselves carrying the weight of a conflict that had been brewing long before their involvement. By stepping into the spotlight, they bore the burden of an entire industry-wide dispute. Their reference to HYBE's other idol groups in court hearings even sparked criticism that they, too, were not entirely free of responsibility. The phrase "idols are innocent" is no longer taken for granted. Independent idols is a trendy concept in K-pop, and many argue that idols should be respected as full-fledged individuals. However, when young idols are pushed to the forefront of such a high-stakes legal battle, the question arises, where do we draw the line between protecting them and holding them accountable? This issue becomes even more complex in a case where their close attachment to a mother figure like Min Hee Jin has been a defining characteristic of their appeal. In this context, NewJeans member Hyun's quote in Time magazine, "Some people conveniently change their perspective, treating me like a child when it suits them and expecting me to act like an adult when it's more convenient," should resonate not only with the K-pop industry at large but also with Min Hee Jin herself. See also, Min Hee Jin fined by Ministry of Employment and Labor for workplace harassment.